Right now at 11 o'clock, we know one thing is for sure from our meteorologists. We are guaranteed more really cold weather for days and even weeks to come, but we may be on the short side for snow. Snow did come into Kentucky tonight, but it stayed south of Louisville. Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Prophet. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell is here right now. And Mallory, did that snow cause any trouble for our viewers to the south?
It doesn't seem to be. So I've been looking at some of the Trimark cameras that are far down in south central Kentucky, even areas like Bowling Green. I know that's just outside of our Kentuckiana viewing area, but it doesn't look like a lot of this snow is sticking. Maybe a dusting in some grassy areas, making the ground just wet. And the good news is areas like Adair County getting a little bit of a break from the steadier snow showers they've been seeing this evening. Big picture view, this is all part of this system that's slowly tracking from west to east here. A lot more rain throughout Tennessee, maybe a sleet mixture closer to that Kentucky-Tennessee line, and this will continue to make a bit more of an impact, I would say, in eastern Kentucky as we carry on into tonight. So you can see the big picture view of our snow potential if I zoom this out, where you are seeing the blues in eastern Kentucky into West Virginia and Virginia. That's where you're going to see more accumulating snow. We're talking a dusting to a half of an inch in areas like Adair County, Greene, Taylor counties potentially as well. Otherwise tonight, it's just chilly. Of course, those temperatures back down into the 20s. Some of our southern Indiana counties might get some clearing, and that could allow temperatures to dip down into the teens. So very, very chilly again tonight. We warm up slightly as we head into the weekend. I'll have more details on that coming up in our 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Mallory. Breaking news right now, late tonight. In fact, happening within the last 30 minutes, it goes down in defeat. The controversial proposed city ordinance that would have prevented local police and federal ICE agents from wearing masks. Here's how the vote wrapped up moments ago downtown.
Mr. President, you have 12 yes votes, 13 no votes, and 1 present vote.
The ordinance fails.
Keep in mind, this council meeting started at 6 tonight, and with that vote coming after 10:30 this evening, a few moments ago, we're going to bring you a full report on the debate. This ordinance proposed by the man you just saw there, Metro Council Democrat J.P. Leninger. Stay with us. That story's coming up very soon. But first tonight, we do want to switch to tell you that we are talking to a resident in an East End apartment complex tonight. He spoke to us a few hours after 2 Metro police officers were called to the complex and ended up shooting and killing a man around 2 this afternoon. WHAS11 night team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester spent hours on the scene in Hurstbourne Acres.
I have a patrol run.
The Taylor at 502 apartment complex.
Someone pulled a gun on his girlfriend.
Soon littered with law enforcement.
This incident began at approximately 1:30 p.m.
Officers were called to Red Deer Circle, right off the entrance on Taylorsville Road. The caller said a man had pointed a gun at a woman in the complex.
He was shirtless last time I saw him, and he was armed with a pink or purple handgun.
The caller gave the description of the suspect as a white male with no shirt.
LMPD Deputy Chief Ryan Bates says several officers went to the area.
In the course of their investigation, officers encountered a man matching that description with a gun and ordered him to drop it. 2 officers fired their weapons, striking the subject.
Bates says officers rendered aid, but the man died on scene. This all happened while Zurich Day was at work.
I was very confused, very perplexed, because
in the last 2 months,
I don't really see officers show up here often.
Day says there was another shooting in the area. He's only lived in the area for the last 2 months, moving here from Chicago.
And at the end of the day, the officers of this neighborhood do keep it very safe from my aspect, because this is only the second incident that's happened in 2 months, whereas where I come from, it's like 5 in a week.
And as the sun sets and the investigation continues, Day says today's incident doesn't change his view of the community he moved into. In Hurstbourne Acres, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Louisville Metro Police looking for witnesses of the incident to help in their investigation. You're asked to contact them, and you can use the anonymous tip line by calling 574 LMPD. By the way, officers involved in the incident today will be identified 72 hours after the shooting, and the body camera video will be released in 10 business days. New tonight, a controversial dam in New Albany will be removed after a year-long legal battle. This is between the city and the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, a story we've been following closely. Tonight, Mayor Jeff Gahan announcing the agreement that ends all pending legal matters regarding the Glenwood Park Dam, and it will also improve safe access to Silver Creek. Once water conditions are safe, the dam will be removed. The agreement comes a year after a boy drowned after being trapped in Silver Creek at the dam. Gahan ordered an emergency order to add rocks to restore the dam's condition and eliminate the dangerous current. Indiana DNR halted the work, citing permitting issues. In the announcement tonight, Mayor Jeff Gahan saying, quote, now that this matter is behind us, we can focus on our new addition to Silver Creek that will improve recreation, fishing, and the ecosystem for decades to come, end quote. Refuge for Women, Kentucky's emergency house for human trafficking survivors, has opened their doors today and is now awaiting the arrival of their first residents. This program provides specialized long-term and emergency housing for up to 8 women at a time who can stay up to 90 days. It gives them a safe space to recover and after escaping human trafficking and exploitation. According to Refuge for Women, more than 100 survivors have already reached out for help before the doors even opened. Updating now the growing controversy over the 2 missile strikes on a Venezuelan fishing boat. The commander who oversaw the controversial order to fire on September 2nd briefed lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. Admiral Mitch Bradley's closed-door meeting follows days of scrutiny regarding whether defense officials potentially committed a war crime by ordering that second strike on the survivors of the first strike. There is no public video of the second strike, but today several lawmakers say they saw it behind closed doors. Sources tell ABC News the first strike, which you saw there, left 2 survivors clinging to the boat, and then a second strike was launched. Republican Senator Tom Cotton says there were 4 strikes total, all justified. International law says enemy combatants, though, can only be killed if they still pose a threat.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have 2 individuals in clear distress, without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who were killed by the United States.
2 lawmakers tell ABC News the admiral said today that there had not been an order to kill everyone on the boat. Secretary Pete Hegseth previously denied giving that order, but it's not clear exactly what Hegseth's order did include. Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is opposed to these missile strikes. He is calling for a thorough investigation now, and he says the full responsibility, though, is on Pete Hegseth.
Even in war, you don't blow up somebody who has been incapacitated. People floundering around in the water, clinging to wreckage, have been incapacitated, and under no theory of war are they an opportunity to be killed. So I think it was wrong on all fronts, but I don't like the Secretary of Defense blaming on a military commander. These commands came from him, and I think the buck stops with him.
Rand Paul is upset with the lack of communication and transparency from the current administration. Earlier last week, they denied the second drone strike took place, then backtracked and confirmed the second strike earlier this week after ABC News broke the story. A resident of Kentucky has been named a suspect in a double homicide case in California, where he allegedly killed his parents, Vicky and Dr. Eric Cortez, over the weekend. Police say they found the 37-year-old suspect, Keith Cortez, in a car which had been set on fire near the scene, where he had also taken his life. Dr. Cortez, a radiologist in Simi Valley, and his wife were shot several times in their open garage, according to police. They were taken to a hospital where they later died from their injuries. The circumstances and motive for the double murder are still under investigation, according to police. We have a traffic alert for you tomorrow. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet tells drivers to expect blasting operations tomorrow morning, Friday morning and afternoon on the Waterson Expressway right near that Brownsboro Road exit. This is an updated schedule for their operations. Now, a part of the $130 million widening and improvement project of the Waterson and US 42 in Louisville. KYTC says blasting operations are expected to occur around 11 a.m. tomorrow. They say intermittent roadblocks are required during the blasting operations and to expect delays. Crews will then continue operations in the afternoon around 2 o'clock. The Highway Improvement Project is expected to be finished in the fall of 2027. Well, all news tonight, President Donald Trump wishing everyone happy holidays during this evening's National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony in Washington.
Thank you very much, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
The First Lady Melania Trump did the honors there at the lighting ceremony at the White House. Also during the ceremony, President Trump honored the 2 National Guard members who were shot last week, one of them killed.
And I want to pay my highest respects to those two great guardsmen. You know who I'm talking about. They paid, in one case, the ultimate, and the other. Andrew is getting better. Sarah, unfortunately, is watching from a high, watching from heaven.
In accordance with a proclamation from the White House, Governor Andy Beshear also directed all flags at state office buildings to be lowered half-staff until sunset today, in honor of West Virginia National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom.
Here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $50 million. Powerball, $820 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.